No jab, pay up. Delta Airlines charging unvaccinated workers a monthly $200 health care fee. This with more companies mulling financial penalties for employees without a shot. So what's the potential legal fallout from all this? Let's get the read from attorney Brian Claypool. So Brian, first of all, is it legal to be able to just tack on these fees if you're unvaccinated?
Hey, yeah, we're happy Labor Day. This is a colossal heavyweight COVID fight between employers like Delta and other employers across the country who are going to do the same thing. And in the early rounds of this legal battle, Delta and other employers are winning. They have the upper hand. And here's why. Most employees across the country are what's called at-will employees, which means they don't have a written contract. And that means that employers such as Delta and other employers can basically do whatever they want. They can assess these additional fees for failure to get vaccines. And guess what? If the employees of Delta don't want to pay those fees, don't want to get vaccinated, and aren't happy about it, they're likely to lose their jobs. And that's the way the groundwork is right now, Edward.
So what about the basic question here? Is your employer even legally allowed to ask if you're vaccinated? I mean, there's so many rules around health care.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's be clear for your viewers. I mean, there's no game plan or playbook for this. We haven't had a pandemic like this in a century. So this is novel for the court systems as well. But clearly, employers have to be mindful of public safety and the safety of their other employees. Think about this. It's a double-edged sword for employers like Delta. If they don't do anything about COVID, if they don't require vaccinations, if they don't assess these financial penalties, then what happens? Employees go to work, they don't get vaccinated, and then others get sick, and then employers like Delta are going to face a mountain of civil lawsuits. So it's basically
right.
Poison, and the employers are picking the poison of public safety.
Right, but still, let's take it a little bit further from an employee standpoint. Can an employer actually fire you for refusing to take a vaccine? Do you think there's legal ground for that?
Yes, absolutely. I do believe there's legal grounds for that, as long as an employee doesn't have, for example, a legitimate medical exemption. And I use the word legitimate because it can't be, oh, I'm afraid of the consequences of a vaccine. They would have to show a history, for example, of not having gotten any other vaccines throughout their lifetime, or show that they've had some serious medical implications from a prior vaccine. But short of that, Edward, I got news for you. If employers out there want to fire you because you're not vaccinated, absent that legit medical exemption, you're going to be out of a job if you don't get vaccinated.
So in the last 30 seconds we have, and I know it's hard for a lawyer to stick to 30 seconds, but what, might it be too soon for them, to get a vaccine safely if some people have had COVID? So, these rules don't take any of that into consideration, that if they've got the antibodies already, and maybe they can't get a vaccine for some reason, or religious reasons, is there anything to be said about that?
Well, look, yeah, religious reasons could be an exemption too, but again, got to be legitimate. It can't be, hey, my pastor said he or she doesn't believe in these vaccinations. It's got to be a hardcore religious belief. And me being a Christian, I don't really see that anywhere in the Bible. So I think you're going to be hard pressed to make that argument as well. And to your other question, I mean, it's going to be hard to implement whether you had COVID or not. At the end of the day, employees are going to have to weigh it. Do I get a vaccine, keep my job, or risk losing my job if I don't get it?
Yeah, Brian, I appreciate that. A lot to think about, a lot of new legal paths with COVID. I appreciate it. Thanks for the debate. Now, the pain at the pump,